What's up, y'all? Philly Fly Show checking in here, kicking it at Right Way Production Studios, and we are here for another great week. Philly Fly Show had an awesome picks last week. Out of the 14 fights, we went 11 for 14, so very high percentage there. Did get the main event right, even though I was rooting for Jack, and Jack got exposed. Waylay, too, got super exposed at that move up in weight. Her size was the only thing. I think she was strong enough. I think she had the right essential game plan, but she was just way too small. Valentina just exposed her that she was too good at grappling and striking to keep up with her. And then Malcolm, I keep calling him Matthew. I did this even last week. Malcolm Wellmaker totally got exposed. That dude needs to work on throwing more than one or two strikes. Throwing combos into the 3, 4, and 5 area will super help his game plan, and he will be one of those top competitors. But it's a good loss. It's a good way to learn, and it's a good way to become one of these top champion competitors in that division. He also was up in weight, 10 pounds up. I know it doesn't sound like a lot to most people, but when you're fighting and you move up even a weight class like that, his gas tank, you could just tell, was just not there. So it'll be nice to see him in a real camp and make 135 and actually compete in the bantamweight division and not in the featherweight, because he just did not look like his gas tank was there. But we're not here for this. We're here for, there's only 3 UFC events left, 2 fight nights, and in between a pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is good. This one here, it's a good fight it's good card. It's in Qatar. Starts at 9 a.m. in the morning for prelims, and then the main card starts at noon. A little difficult for most people to get to when it's early morning fights, especially in Qatar. I just wish we wouldn't do so much of these events over in that area. There's way too many fight nights over there. Bring it back here, because we've been having, with the UFC now making the UFC Apex an actual arena that's going to hold 6,000 to 10,000 people. That will be a little better, and we'll have more events here. But with the way the Apex is now, again, that's going to all change here by the time, I think it's like March that's estimated to be done. I think there's one event left, and I think the last event is at the Apex, and then the Apex gets its construction finally done. But soon we'll have a better spot to go watch fights and actually be able to go see them. The Apex could only hold like a couple hundred people before, and it was mainly family and part of the UFC. So it'd be nice to actually get to go see an event. But we're here for UFC Fight Night. Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan the Hangman Hooker. It's great to see Dan back in there, but man, the UFC just keeps dogging that dude and keeps giving him grappling guys. That's about it. Dude, Dan Hooker's weakness is definitely anybody who can grapple forward. Anybody who can grapple backward, he'll end up starching you. But when you're a forward grappler, wrestler style like Arman is, it's going to be a tough night for Dan if you get in there. But we're going to jump in here. We got 14 fights here. Match leg number 14 is a heavyweight bout between Merrick Bulo and Denzel Freeman. Both of these guys making their UFC debut, so not a lot of good information on them. What I do know is Denzel was a great wrestler, and Bulio does not get a lot of fights out of the first round. So Bulio's gas tank's going to be tested, whereas Denzel, that's why he's the -200 favorite. Bulio's +170 underdog. The reason Freeman is a favorite is because of his wrestling. So we're going to probably see that on display, and I'm going to go with Denzel Freeman here at that -200, but I'm not confident on it since both guys making their UFC debut. 1 out of 5 on a confidence level. He can get his hand raised. Match leg number 13 here is a lightweight bout between Nurolo Aliyev and Shem Rock. Now, Shem is a +245 underdog, whereas Aliyev's a -310 favorite. Aliyev fighting close to his home country, so the crowd's going to be backing him. Shem Rock, just not enough information for me to actually evaluate his skill set. So I'm going to go with the odds makers here because it's 3 to 1 odds. Negative 310 sounds good to me. I think Alib, though, does get him out of there and get the W. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his hand raised. Match leg number 12, Ismail Nurdiv versus Ryan Loder. Nurdiv is a negative 135 favorite, whereas Ryan Loder is a plus 115 underdog. I think the grappling is going to be too much for Ismail. Yes, he might be closer to his hometown fighter, but Ryan Loder is no slouch, and he can get the job done, especially with that grappling. He mixes it up well with striking too, but I wouldn't even say he's an elite striker. He's more like he's a great grappler. So it's going to be a tough night for Nurdiv. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that the underdog, Ryan Loder, can get his hand raised. All right, match leg number 11 here. We got a bantamweight bout. You know what? Now looking at this, I know it's in Qatar, so I'm guessing they didn't allow it, but there's no female fights on here on the morning fight. It's tomorrow. But like I said, we're in the bantamweight division. We get Beksat Alakan versus Alejandro Topuria. Now, this is Topuria's little brother. He did have a great debut against Kobe Thickness. It was hard for me to pick against him because he's also put on the size and the muscle that he's needed to. But Alakan, or Beksat, the plus 120, he is a surging bantamweight too. He's got the skill set to do everything. It's come up a little short in one of his fights, but it's a learning experience. So it was hard for me to pick. It was almost flip of the coin here. I'm going to go Topuria just because he's put on that muscle and it looks like it's actually it looks like his strength with the muscle is actually going to be a good defense for him. So if he can get the striking put together like his brother, he could be one of these elite fighters coming up. I'm going to take him with that negative 140, but 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that he can get his hand raised. Match leg number 10 here is probably one of the craziest odds I've seen in a while. We get Abdul Rahman Yakazev versus Rafael Sakura. Now, Sakura is a plus 1,000 underdog, and Abdul is a negative 3,000 favorite. Those are crazy odds. You're not going to go against those odds. If Rafael could even remotely sniff a win, that'd be nuts at that plus 1,000. You get some crazy good money, but I am not even risking that. This is one of those fights where it's like Rafael just gets knocked out every fight or finished or some way. It just doesn't look like he's even got the skill set to be in the light heavyweight division. Whereas Abdul, yeah, he's got the skill set to be in the light heavyweight division. So this is one of those mismatches that probably should not. They're just trying to build confidence in Abdul. 4 out of 5, though, on my confidence level that Abdul gets a job done. If you need it, do you want to get a little bit better odds? You want to get him down to like probably negative 2,000. Pick him to finish him. If you want to get it a little lower, pick him to finish him in the first round. But that's a little bit of a risky one for me to be a first round one. I just picked to finish just to get a little bit better odds. All right, match leg number 9 here is a flyweight division fight. We get Alex Perez versus Asu Almabayev. Now, Almabayev is on a tear. He's looking like he's got one of these next flyweight competitors. He is a negative 195 favorite, whereas Alex Perez is a plus 165 underdog. Look, man, Alex has only come up short against top 3 level fighters. Maybe you can say top 5, but I'm going to say top 3 level fighters in the flyweight division. His flyweight division or title fight loss was to Figgy. Then he ends up fighting Pantoja. Pantoja just smokes him. He might be 1-3 in his last fights, but he is no slouch, man. That guy brings it every time, and he's only lost to top competitors. Granted, Asul is ascending, but Asul is not a top 5 competitor yet. I'm going with Alex Perez here. I think Alex will do enough to either finish him with a knockout, or if it gets to the ground, man, he's just going to gas him out and go to a decision win. I just don't see Asul beating Alex at all. Alex is one of those top guys, man. Top guys. Sewell's got to get past him to keep his rising going. It's not happening though on Saturday. All right, match leg number 8 here. Welterweight fight between Nicholas Dalby and Sagid Izakamayev. Now, Sagid is a negative 350 favorite, where Nicholas Dalby is a plus 270 underdog. You can risk it with Dalby. I wouldn't even argue it because that dude, when he was supposed to be done in his UFC career, that dude made the leap and got 3 to 4 good wins under his belt against guys he was not supposed to beat each time, and being an underdog each one of those fights to get a win. It's worth the risk, but when you go look at Saigid's record, when you go look at his skill set, it's Dalby's weakness is everything Saigid can do. I'm picking Saigid with the negative 350, 3 out of 5 on the comps when he gets hand raised. But like I said, Dalby's game, and I will it would not surprise me if he ends up winning. Would not surprise me. All right, feature prelim bout of the evening. It's a featherweight bout, match like number 7. Grad versus Luke Riley. Luke Riley making his UFC debut, and he's a negative 260 favorite. Those odds makers must know a little bit of something that we don't. But Grad, man, that guy can fight. So, like, as well-rounded as he is, how are you going to say that these odds are almost 3 to 1 on a guy that is making his UFC debut? He did come up through a good organization and a promotion in Cage Warriors. Cage Warriors is top. LFA is one of the top ones, and there's a couple other ones that escaping me right now. But Luke came from Cage Warriors, but I didn't see that he was champion in Cage Warriors. So sometimes dudes just get projected to the UFC way too fast, and it could be one of those situations, and that's why I'm leaning on Grad. I'm going to pick him to win and take those odds with that plus 210. I'm going to take it to the bank, but I'm not super confident on it. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his hand raised after this fight. I just don't see Luke making his UFC debut and beating a guy like Grad. Just can't see it. Just don't see it happening. All right, we get into the main card. The main card's got some pretty decent fights on here. There is a late or last minute substitution. That's the next fight. I'll get to that. Match like number 6. So let's jump into it. It's a flyweight bout between Taigir Ulukbayev versus Koji Hugori. Now, Koji is a plus 170 underdog. Taigir negative 200. You know, Koji is a great fighter, and he I wish he would have came to the UFC just a bit sooner. He's a little old in the teeth at 35 years old, but hey, man, it's nice to see him get his shot in the UFC, but the matchmakers made this to test him to see if he's actually got the skill set that look from another promotion. See if his skill set matches with UFC guys. Taigir is one of the guys that's surging up. He's got a couple. Actually, I don't even know if he has a loss in the UFC. I'd have to go double check that one. I don't think he actually has a loss in the UFC, but he's had some fights where it's like, does he have the skill set? Does he not? Does he come up short? Is he going to come up short against a fighter? Koji could be that first guy that he comes up short against, but I don't see it happening. There are levels to the game, and Taigir's, to me, is at least 2 levels higher than Horiguchi. 3 out of 5 on the comments on Taigir. Ulukbayev with that negative 200 can get the hand raise after that fight. I wouldn't pick a finish or anything like that. He's not that type of fighter. He's more of a go-to-distance point fighter, so if you want to get a little bit better odds, you could pick Taigir to get distance fight. That's not going to improve it that much, but it'll improve it a bit. All right, heavyweight bout here. Shamil Gaziev got a new opponent. Sergey Spivak had a drop out of the fight during fight week, which that always sucks, but if you do it during fight week and not last minute, like right before the fight, he did it like 2 days ago or 3 days ago, kind of can tell that's a real injury, so hopefully he can get back in there soon. But they got a great replacement fight. We get Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Shamil Gaziev. Now, Gaziev now moved to a plus 115 underdog. Acosta, negative 144. I get why the odds makers did that. I think they're just trying to get this to come to even money on things. But, you know, there is some... You could pick Shamil. Shamil is no slouch. But Waldo Acosta, he has fought in some wars, baby. Like, some of the craziest fights so far in his career where he's losing and he comes back. The last one takes I don't remember if I think he got poked in the eye, if I remember. Thought the fight wasn't going to go. They actually gave him the extra minute because he said his vision was getting better, even though they're not supposed to. I don't understand how they did it, but they gave him the extra minute. He came in, knocked dude out after dude thought he had a win. So he tends to be on the side where he looks like he's about to lose a fight and then wins. So if that starts, could be a bad night for him. But I just don't see Gazib being able to beat him. He's fought recently. He's got more experience, it seems like, in the UFC. I'm going Waldo Acosta here. He always looks like he's going to fail, and then he turns it around, faces the adversity, and wins. I'm going to go with the guy who faces the adversity. But it's heavyweight bout, like I said. I don't bet on these a lot. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level that Waldo Cortez Acosta gets his hand raised. Match leg number 4, welterweight fight. Jack Hermansson versus Macbeth Orlby. Now, Orlby is a negative 250 favorite. Jack Hermansson plus 205. You could go Jack all you want. The reason I won't go Jack is dude had won or has been on a bad losing streak, gets a win. Everyone thinks he's back in it. Finds a guy like Rodriguez, and Gregory Rodriguez just starches him. Kind of saw that happening because I think Gregory's a real top competitor who's not ranked yet. But Jack, it looks like it's going downhill for him. And Orlby, he's up and coming surging. So I'm going to go with the up and coming surging guy. I don't like Jack's reactions when he gets hit. He gets hit with a shot that most dudes should be able to take. He has a bad reaction. Only way Jack can win this is getting it to the ground and getting a submission. I don't see that happening, though, against Orlby whatsoever. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that he can get his hand raised. All right, match leg number 3, light heavyweight bout, banger fight. Do not miss this fight. Volkan, no time Ozdemir versus Alonzo Minefield. Minefield plus 190, negative 235 on Volkan Ozdemir. Ozdemir's got crazy hands. It looks like he's coming back to the old Ozdemir, the way he fights. But Alonzo just comes forward, man, and loves the counter. He'll take a shot and give you 2. And those 2 shots are usually nasty and put people out. So this was a hard one for me. I almost flipped a coin for this, but I'm going to go Ozdemir just because his surgeons looks like he's coming back. Now, like I just said, Alonzo has been good in his last 2 fights. He's got a couple losses in between, but he brings it every single fight. He is no slouch. The banger fight, they're both going to walk forward and they're both just going to throw hands. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Can't wait to watch that banger. And then we get to this fight. The co-main event of the evening could be the main event of the evening. There's no doubt about it. I am so glad they put this fight together. I've been waiting for this fight. Bilal, don't remember the name, Muhammad, versus Ian Machado Gary. Machado Gary, negative 270 favorite. Bilal plus 220. Underdog. There's no way, if you know who I am, that I'd be taking Bilal Muhammad. Bilal does not have hands. He can yell, I got these Canelo hands. No, dude does not have no Canelo hands. Just because he knocked out Sean Bray. He got so lucky that he knocked out Sean, and Sean was worried about the grappling of Bilal and walking forward. He got lucky. That was the luckiest fight I've ever seen in my life, I swear. Ian Machado Gary, though, is the real deal. The second that he took his camp from Ireland, where he was a great striker, known as a great striker, got power, had a little bit of a gas tank issue, but known for that, goes and signs up with, why can't I remember this camp name? Oh my gosh, it's gonna bug me. Went and joined Charles Oliveira's camp. God, why can't I remember the name? Gonna bug me here, but we're gonna move forward. Goes down there, learns grappling, and every fight, and since he switched to the camp in Brazil, he has shown each time that he masters levels of grappling. Then he goes and fights Shavkat, almost submits Shavkat, makes Shavkat go the distance this first time ever in any fight while grappling. That's where I was like, he's the real deal. He still has got the striking, still can strike with anybody. His fight against Carlos Prates wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but Carlos is a game fighter, Whereas Bilal's got one thing. He can grapple. So that's going to equalize each other out. So if it comes down to striking, Ian Machado Gary's going to win. Now, Ian Machado Gary gets put on his back and Bilal's on top. I'm going to be a little scared because Bilal is a good grappler and can submit you in a bunch of different ways. But we're not going to see that here. Even if we do, we know Charles Oliveira's camps are very good fighters on their back. They can submit you from the back. They can get back up. They can do damage. Ian's going to be set up for this fight. Ian does not lose this fight. I'm only going to put a 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that he wins this fight just because Bilal can win with grappling. So I won't make it a 4 or 5, but Ian Machado Gary's going to win that fight. He is going to dominate and win that fight. Then we get to the main event of the evening. It's a lightweight bout between Arman Tsarukyan, Dan Hooker. Arman negative 600. Dan the Hangman Hooker, unfortunately, plus 400. You want to go Dan the Hangman Hooker? I can't argue you, man. That guy is psychotic. Like, when you think of a fighter and you show someone Dan Hooker, that's a fighter's fighter. Arman, definitely damn little rich kid. You can totally tell. Totally tell he's just like Dan has been saying all week, he's a little rich kid that he just wants to punch him in the face and beat him down. It's going to be great. I really hope that Arman doesn't grapple, but we all know what his skill set is. He's going to walk forward. He's going to take down probably Dan Hooker within the first one, or try to take Dan Hooker down in the first minute or two. Dan has worked on his grappling defense, but that is a big weakness of his. He just he hasn't had it in years past. But in this last resurgence back into the top 5, he has shown that he's got some. He's learned something from Volk and those guys in City Kickboxing. He's learned a lot from them boys. And, I really want to pick Dan, but I'm going to pick Arman Tsarukyan because that's the betting side that you should do. But I'll be rooting for Dan because Arman is just... Dude backed out of a fight day before, just whack. Just whack. Just whack. And I got to see him actually take down a top 5 competitor to be back on the Arman Tsarukyan bandwagon. Arman may win on Saturday, but it's a Dan Hooker fight. If he wins, just good. Just fire. All right, y'all. Philly Fly Show's checking out because we got to prepare. Remember, next week, because it's Thanksgiving, there's no UFC fight. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks for the next pay-per-view. And the next pay-per-view is the last pay-per-view on ESPN, and then we go to free pay-per-views. All right, y'all. Peace out. Shout out to Right Way Production Studios for always making this happen.